Hi, I'm Stevie W.
I'm Callum.
This is the High Ground Podcast, and we're back. And today we're going to be looking at Rise of Skywalker.
You knew it was coming.
Come on. Yeah. I'm going to say it. Giggity. So, okay, it's been out around about... Actually, it's been about over a month since as of recording. So, when we actually reload these onto our... It's been a while since it's been out, and probably out on Blu-ray. But... okay, so what do we think?
Yeah, well, I mean, for us it was always going to be the special one, wasn't it? Because it was the end. But, I mean, I really, again, don't see the issue that everyone has. You know, I know why they say it, but I thought it was a beautiful ending, actually. I know that sounds really sort of arty-farty, but it really was. It was poetic, I thought.
I completely agree. This is not the ending I expected. I
No,
didn't. I remember we've been saying for some time we didn't want Kylo Ren to be redeemed.
Yeah.
But when he gets redeemed, it makes perfect sense. I've heard some people say it's too long a movie. I'm like, no, it's not. This is perfect.
Yeah, I've heard people say that, and I think like I don't get that as a criticism of a film. Like the length shouldn't come into it. You know, I mean, maybe in certain circumstances, yeah, but I mean, like a 3-hour rom-com wouldn't work, but
No.
you know, something like Star Wars and the end of the saga, at least you do need that time to sort of, you know, send everyone's stories their separate ways at the end and conclude them.
I went into this film very much. Okay, this is going to sound really weird, but I went into the film the same way I went into Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood dealt with the Sharon Tate murders. I expected, I knew the ending.
Yeah.
I was so tense through watching this film. I went into Rise of Skywalker like I went into Revenge of the Sith, expecting from the Lucasfilm logo right to the end credits just to be bawling my eyes out, because this is the last of the films. Be really heavily emotional ones. Even if you look at Return of the Jedi, you kill off Jabba the Hutt, you kill off Boba Fett. I know Boba Fett's not really dead. Yoda, then Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And you literally characters you either like or love, and you're losing them throughout the whole film. So I went into Skywalker expecting to be overwhelmed emotionally.
Yeah, same.
And I ended up coming out of Rise of Skywalker the first viewing thinking, this is one of the most fun films I've watched in years.
Yeah, definitely.
This is where you're going to hate me. To me, this reminded me of Attack of the Clones. Because I love Attack of the Clones.
I get what you mean, though, yeah.
Because Attack of the Clones was a fun film, and to me it was the last truly fun film. No...
Out of the dark.
Yeah. It was a fun, absolutely fun film, and that's the only word I can use to describe it. For me, Attack of the Clones is fun.
I will agree with that.
And Rise of Skywalker was fun, and I found myself laughing as much as I was crying.
Yeah.
And that's what surprised me, and I thought maybe this is first time viewing things, so second time, then third time, and the fourth time. By the time I came to our fourth viewing, I actually went. I didn't go and see for the fourth time because I felt obligated to, or because it's the last time I'm going to see a brand new Skywalker Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I went to see Rise of Skywalker for a fourth time because I wanted to have that feeling of fun, and I wanted to sit down with a movie that I know is new and it's over a month old, and in my opinion it's a beautiful feeling to go and sit through something that is so much fun and makes me smile so much, and even though the sadness, and I vowed that I wasn't going to get upset because I know all the beats.
No, it's hard though, isn't it?
But there's certain beats in the film that I see, and if you look in the background, if you look in the background at the end, you see Chewie showing R2 and 3PO
his medal,
and I'm like, that got to me. And then
I never noticed that.
Jedi
music. Pointed that out. And that bit really not upset me, but like choked me up when you see the three of them hugging, and it's like the next generation of, you know, like from onward from the original, because those three characters were like the triptych of the whole original saga, weren't they? You know, like you stuck with these characters for so long, and like I'm glad they kept that sort of chemistry and that dynamic with the new cast, because I was worried that, and they really did well with just having one cast member in each film, you know, like as the main cast member. I mean, I know Carrie was meant to be this one, wasn't she? But I think 8 ended up being hers and Mark Hamill's.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, no, I think that really worked. I mean, and even the Mark Hamill cameo is well, not cameo, but like is a really good scene. I think that's really well done.
I remember watching the second time, the third time, and I was thinking, what I've not really looked out for. He's got his metal hand. He's got his cybernetic hand.
They hide it.
And they hide it. If you look, any time Luke Skywalker's on the scene, you never see his right hand. You never see his hand. I thought that was brilliant.
We'll have the little pedantic fanboys weeping, wasn't it?
He's like, no. He has his hand up because he's one with the Force. But they didn't need to show it because it's like.
Speaking of one with the Force, that was the only criticism. Not criticism, but like regret I had about this one was. Me and you were really expecting an Anakin cameo at some point, and you kind of get one, but I really would have liked to have seen Kylo and Anakin as a ghost at the end as well, and with the whole Skywalker clan together, in the last shot. That last shot I love is like just the mirror of Luke. That's my favorite. I mean, as you know, that's my favorite film shot of all time. And I just like the mirror of that is just so, because I thought it was really poignant in Last Jedi when Luke dies, and I never noticed it was a double sunset, and it's so great what they do with the imagery, and going back to Tatooine finally at the end, because we haven't seen it in this trilogy.
No, we haven't.
I mean, Jakku's a stand-in, isn't it? But I mean,
there's billions of planets out there. Why do we always go back to Tatooine?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I love it. I having Billy, finding out, between the third screening and the fourth screening, that the body double for Leia was Billy.
Oh,
Lord.
right.
So it's Mark Hamill and Billy Lord doing, during the lightsaber, during the training.
Yeah.
It's Billy and Mark.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that kind of welled me up a bit when I watched it the fourth time, because it's because.
Just nice seeing Leia's saber as well, wasn't it?
Oh, that was beautiful. Even though Carrie Fisher never wielded it, I actually, I really want Princess Leia's lightsaber now.
Yeah, it's cool, and it puts to rest that whole stupid argument about Last Jedi when people were saying things like, "Oh, why is Leia turned into Superman?" Because she trained as a Jedi. Now we know she did. Why did we need to confirm that? Just because of people like that?
Because there's a lot of fanboys out there that think that the expanded universe and everything that's ever been written should be in the movies. And you ever tried to explain it to some of these fanboys that film is a different medium than books and everything. You have to. You know what? I'm going to go slightly off track here, but you know what the worst one is Marvel and comic book movies, where comic book fans who can't think outside the box.
Or the frame.
Or the frame. Sorry, they can't think outside the frame. That everything that's in the comic book has to be in the movies, and that you can't
condense that much.
You have to appeal to a smaller audience. You can't say this has to be like this.
Yeah, I think the perfect sort of adaptation is one that can appeal to armchair fans as well. People that know nothing about the subject can sit down, watch it and go, well, that's pretty good. Like they did with the Star Trek reboots. And whether you love them or hate them, or you think they're too JJ-ized,
Women with the lens flares.
Yeah, but I he did well with that, because he wasn't a Star Trek fan. So I think that sort of helped in bringing it to... I mean, I've had people that don't even like Star Trek watch the reboots and say, oh, I really liked it, it was quite good, like action-packed and all that. And, they're good for what they are. I mean, I think it's only Trekkies that don't like them anyway.
Cool, because they made Star Trek cool.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, it's that sort of. You have to keep it sort of pared down, so you don't need to go and read the novel that goes with this film, or, I was a bit worried when I found out about Disney Plus that's what Marvel were doing with the TV series, but when I found out they were just mini-series, that work.
Yeah.
But when there's no mad convoluted backstory, it's why things like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings find such a hard grasp on their audience, because they have to bombard you with fantasy's like that, isn't it? There's so much history and backstory with created worlds that you have to bombard people with a prologue that lasts for 10 minutes, or try and get them to somehow understand something through an exposition.
Singing trees.
Yeah, or an exposition scene. Whereas something like Star Wars, they drop it in lines, like what is it, under 12 parsecs?
Yeah.
About the man.
Oh, 14.
Yeah, 14. Sorry.
14, but they said it. Then when you're in there, you're going, no, it's 12.
Yeah. and you're thinking like, oh, I'd love to see what that looks like from a throwaway line, and even like they made Rogue One from a throwaway sentence in the opening crawl. I think that's the wonder about the Star Wars universe. There's so many things and background characters that you see for seconds that you could have a whole movie about. And I think that's wonderful. It's there if you want it, kind of thing. It's not forced on you.
Well, you get these ones that want to have everything. The guy in the background in the cantina, it's like he's there. They do lip service to Dr. Evazan and the Barber in Rogue One.
Yeah, I like that.
But that's just a throwaway character. It's not like but how can they be on there when they were supposed to be there? And in the timeline they're not supposed to be there. It's like it's a little thing for the movie fans. And Star Wars started out as a movie. I remember I had this argument. Well, not an argument. Someone came up to me who hasn't even seen 7. He hasn't seen 8 or 9. A gamer came up to me in the retail job and said about how Disney are going to literally. A lot of people come up to you, the geeks. A lot of geeks go up and they'll say things, and they've not even seen these films. They go like, and
unsubstantiated.
And I'm like, actually, Star Wars, and it got my back up. And I said, I actually said the first thing was Star Wars started out as films and everything. Star Wars did start out as films, and a lot of people who just only play the video games or read the comics, they say, well, they don't like the films because of what Rian Johnson did. I'm only doing this and this, and then they try and dictate to you what Star Wars is doing.
And you were there before them.
And I'm like thinking, you know nothing. You just listen to rumors on the internet.
Even when I was a kid, I used to read the expanded universe stuff, but I always had it in my mind that the films were where it ended. I could never quite sit with the fact that this happens 3 years after Return of the Jedi and all that. I just thought it's just weird when they do stuff like that. And even the new stuff now that's expanded universe, I still can't take it as anything but, almost fan fiction. It gives me that sort of. It's not to disrespect the authors and artists that do it, but I just it's still a bit weird for me. I have a bit of a weird stance on fan fiction anyway. I mean, I'm not totally against it. I just think it's just a strange thing. And I know a lot of authors have made millions out of doing it, haven't they?
Oh, you mean the chick who wrote? Sorry, not the chick.
E.L. James,
yeah. You got the young lady who wrote.
50 Shades of Shite. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
If you've got a girlfriend, you'll understand the pain.
Yeah, because I'm positive. We'll go back on subject soon, but I had to go and see 50 Shades.
I had to see the second one.
I saw the first. I refused to watch the second one, but I had to see the first, and out of it, Charlotte, my fiance, had to go and see Mad Max with me.
Yeah, to be fair, it's because I put mine through Star Wars and things like that.
Don't say Lord of the Rings.
No, she refuses to watch that.
Yours is refusing to watch Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a go at me. Can I just go on the record and say
we have a disagreement going on at the moment about Steve watching Lord of the Rings.
Okay, so back on subject. What was your favourite part, mate? 9.
9. Like with Star Wars, it's always the sort of fist pumpy moments, and I just love the whole "there are more of us" scene with Lando, and everyone just turns up.
Popped big time at Wedge Antilles. Just look at your face.
I literally said yes, didn't I?
Literally, we're sitting in the cinema. We're sitting in the cinema here, and Wedge comes on.
I think he says something like "good shot, Lando," doesn't he? And
I
just immediately went.
It was.
He's the one sort of cameo I was expecting in all of them. I thought he'd be like a resistance general or something like that. And I used to love Wedge because he's just like he's that guy that survives in the background, isn't he? But I'd love to see a movie about him. And when he popped up, I just thought, yes, there he is. I think I physically did say yes, didn't I?
But one of my favourite bits was the when Chewie and the lot and Chewie are all escaping, and you see this character beckons them forward to on the I can't remember the name of the planet, the sand planet, and the character beckons them forward. As soon as I saw it, I was like Lando. Then when it's the reveal, I was like, yes, you just knew it was Lando because it was a callback to Jedi.
It looked like his his Jabba guard outfit, didn't it?
I was like that. As soon as it was like, no, and you know, because it's ingrained in your psyche.
as
being
soon
an
as you hear him
old-timer.
saying "old buddy" or something like
Yeah,
that.
no, it was like Lando is so cool.
He is
and
cool.
so that got me buzzing.
Any new characters you really liked in it?
Yeah, because I'm really of Dio, of course. Dio.
Dio,
Dio,
yeah,
because
Dio's cool.
he
Yeah.
did that little downtrodden.
It was nice that they sort of did an abused droid story as well, because it's never something you think of, is it? Like, because they're obviously used like slave labor droids, aren't they? Even like people like, I mean, 3PO is treated with a bit more respect, but you know they're still tools at the end of the day, aren't they? And they're never.
Sometimes 3P can be a bit of one.
Yeah, he
as well.
can be a bit of a tool. Yeah, but I mean they never sort of acknowledged that in the previous films about the deeper sort of social stuff like that. But I really liked Babu Freak.
I was going to say Babu! That's voiced by Shirley Henderson.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. Moaning Metal, for those who don't know the name.
No,
and Kerry Russell was good as well.
Oh yeah, Kerry Russell as
Zori
Bliss. Yeah. There's a bit of spoiler territory.
Sorry, yeah, we will put a spoiler description on.
Yeah, a bit where Zori's in the final battle with Babu.
Yeah.
I know. Babu was so.
Yeah, he's cool. I like when they do the stuff with tiny characters, or like the out there characters. You know, like I think it was the Porgs in episode 8, wasn't it? They were like the out there characters.
Yeah, people go on about George Lucas, making things in films to sell toys. Then you think, how many Porgs do I have lying around the house?
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, what I liked about these new trilogies as well, and Solo especially, is in A New Hope. I think when they're in the canteen, there's far more outrageous looking aliens than there is later on in the series. You know, and I think when they originally made it, they just sort of went hell for leather. I mean, I think there was one point that they deleted was a giant cricket or something sitting at the bar. But I like that they brought that back now, that there's outrageous looking aliens instead of just, you know, like Star Trek falls for this, where it's just people with prosthetics stuck to their heads and, you know, they look a bit more alien. But like aliens should look alien, you know, you should go, wow, what the hell is that?
You walk into a canteen on a planet.
That's what it would look like.
You've got Wolfman and everything.
Yeah.
But that's because what they had lying around, because the budget of the film was so small.
But that works in the favour, because, you know, you have a whole alien species in like I know we don't like it, but, you know, in the expanded universe.
Yeah.
That you see once, and then they give a name to it, and you're like, oh, that's what it's called. You know, I love that about Star Wars. You
look at from about 96, 97 onwards, there was a period where they were literally releasing loads and loads of figurines of the ones, the Kenner ones, kind of Hasbro. The Cantina and I'd be going out buying them because I wanted all the ones, because it was such, the Cantina was so iconic. Well, it's
like a collection, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, that would be one of the great. I don't in America if you have shows like this, but there's one here called Pointless.
Yeah.
And the other day when I was on break at work, one of the questions was fantasy and sci-fi trilogies, and one of the things to get a pointless answer was cast characters in Star Wars, or background characters in Star Wars. And I just sat there and thought, well, I could have got 3 easy there, you know, like. But I think that's the great thing about Star Wars, is that, you know, all these background characters, even in this trilogy, you know, there's people in the background you could say make a movie about him, or, you know, and you could do that. Even or John Williams as a bartender.
Oh, that was brilliant.
If you noticed that
was brilliant.
That's great. Yeah, and it's also the rewatch value of this one as well. I think is higher than any other, because I think on the third view, and I said to you, I've just noticed they called that guy Junior, the Admiral Akbar. Yeah. It's obviously his son, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and I think I like that. I like rewatchability, because, and also the scene at the end. You know, I really want to go through that with a tooth comb and see what ships we can see.
I know we can see the Ghost.
Yeah, definitely from Rebels. Yeah, you can see it landing as well at the end. But I mean, me and you were looking for Slave One, weren't we? Or something like that.
I was looking. My big one for the first 2 screenings was. I'm trying to get his name right. An actor whose name I can never ever get right.
Well, speaking of Lord of the Rings, Dominic Monaghan.
Yeah.
If you like.
Isn't he in something else by JJ?
I don't know actually. Is he? There's a Game of Thrones actor as well.
Oh, is it? Lin-Manuel Miranda. I knew he was in it, and I was like looking for him everywhere. 2 screenings.
Ed Sheeran as well.
Yeah, Stormtrooper.
He's a Stormtrooper.
Yeah, and inhabitant of Kijimi, Kevin Smith. I haven't found him. I knew where he was, but I could never find him. But Lin-Manuel Miranda, he's at the end of the movie.
Oh, right.
Right at the end.
The celebration.
During the celebration. And it took me, I think it was the third. It was the 3rd screening actually. No,
to be fair, they could all be aliens or something, couldn't they?
Yeah,
maybe.
actually, he's no.
Oh no, not him. I mean, yeah, Stormtrooper could be anyone, couldn't
yeah.
it? I mean, Kevin Smith could be an alien because there's a lot of aliens on that planet, isn't there?
Yeah, I will. As soon as it comes out, going through Warwick Davis.
And even John Williams has got a character name.
Yeah. What is this? Oh,
Oma
Tres. Seeing Wicked.
Oh yeah, I love that scene. And you just knew it was him as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, as soon as he was like, because I'd met him earlier in the year at the Science of the Science. It's the Doctor Who one, at the Return of the Garrison, and he signed my Wicket figure for me.
Oh,
so I've got a Wicket Funko.
It was J.J. Abrams, the voice of Dio. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
He was.
Oh, and we have to talk about the return of Palpatine. If there's a role someone was born for, it's Ian McDiarmid as the Emperor. Despite how, of all the criticisms of the prequels when they were coming out, it was Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan was perfect, and Palpatine just, whenever he's in a scene, he just steals the energy out of everyone else, doesn't he?
I gotta say,
literally in this one.
I was 8 years old when Jedi came out.
Yeah.
And you go around when we saw it, I just turned 45. And I've never been so scared of Ian McDiarmid as in this one.
Yeah.
So anyone who gives any BS about it, I'm like, don't talk to me about the Emperor should be in here with the Emperor. It doesn't look like the Emperor.
It's because
he's old,
fucking
down
dead.
A shaft,
yeah.
And they go, I'm like, he scared me in this film.
Yeah. Like he did in the original.
He scared me more in this one than he did in the original.
Yeah.
He did, and he was, and I just thought absolutely superb performance by him.
Yeah, it's the voice, isn't it? I don't know how he does that voice. It's just so guttural, and as soon as you hear it, it sends chills through your spine. And I really like the whole sort of the Sith as a cult.
Yeah.
I really like that, because I think they were due a re-mythologizing. In all the expanded universe, there's so much crap about the Sith. You just don't. It just waters down how scary and how evil they are, and they should just be like witches, or it very much I think they may have sort of went the other way here and maybe took something from Harry Potter, and sort of had the Sith be like the Death Eaters.
Yeah.
It works more like that. I think that I never thought I'd hear myself say that, but reverse engineering Harry Potter for Star Wars, but I think it really worked that way.
Star Wars and Harry Potter are the original trilogy of Stars of the same film.
They're cousins, aren't they?
Yeah.
Very
Which we will be doing. We should do
we
should do a podcast on
that. I think we will, because I've always maintained to loads of people, have you seen Harry Potter? Yeah, well then you've seen Star Wars.
Yeah, it is. It's the original.
And they go, what you're on about? And there's so many things you can name off.
Yeah.
Hero journey wise, and
4, 5, and 6 are Harry Potter.
Yeah. And the ones are the lightsabers.
Yeah.
That's how I always look at it. Anyway, that could get us onto a whole.
I got into a blazing row with my first girlfriend over that.
I think Harry Potter fans and Star Wars fans are more similar than they want to admit, aren't they? Sometimes when they get into an argument, in terms of what they're talking about, they are talking about the same structure, aren't they?
But so I don't get people who say I like one but not the other.
Yeah,
give me a break. It is. They are the same.
Yeah. Exactly the same.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Harry Potter suffers a little bit because it's dragged over 8 films, whereas Star Wars keeps the, trilogy is a nice, neat sort of beginning, middle, end structure, isn't it?
I mean, I do like the Harry Potter.
I do like Harry Potter. I just think I'm sick of seeing it on ITV now, though. If those of you in the US, that's like Channel 3 over here, and it just constantly plays Harry Potter.
I've got to admit, me and my fiance, we have a little bit of a tradition where if we ever do something Harry Potter related, we will sit down and go through all of the films. But it's nice to have. It's nice to have those things that she tolerates, and Thing is, she does that. But I've got to give Charlotte, my fiance, all the credit in the world, because every December, round about the 17th, 18th onwards, I tend to get a bit sad. So yeah. So I always used to start in the middle because it's usually linked to the films coming out.
Yeah.
So Charlotte always actually she actually puts up. She tolerates. Well, she doesn't tolerate. She understands that this time I will be watching a lot of stuff, Carrie Fisher films, and we always celebrate every year with watching. Well, we have them for the last couple of years. Watch
Bright Lights.
Bright Lights on her anniversary. Then we watch.
Which, if you haven't seen it, is fantastic. It's so funny, isn't it?
Then we watch Singing in the Rain. After for Debbie Reynolds. So if you haven't seen if you're one of these ones that love Star Wars and haven't seen Singing in the Rain, watch Singing in the Rain. You'll understand how
one of the first films I watched. I think my nan was someone who got me into films when I was a kid, and so through her I know all the old studio actors, and if an old film comes on, I'll be like, oh, there's Bogey, and people are like, who? Like, it's just having that part of film history in your vocabulary. I think it's great, to know where it all comes from today, because let's face it, Star Wars is a mishmash of all that stuff, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So,
okay, it's one of the things I love doing about doing podcasts for you is we have both shared the love of older films, and out there films, and was your grandmother introduced you to
Star Wars,
to those? You do it
as well.
Yeah.
Started with Empire. I didn't. All these famous film franchises, I've never watched them in order.
No.
Maybe I think RoboCop was the only one I did watch first. Thank God. But I think I came on Star Wars on Empire. I watched Back to the Future 3 first, which fucking worked that out, and then things like that. And it was a point in time where now I could never do that. My OCD would just kill me. But when I was a kid, I kind of liked with Empire. I kind of liked jumping in and not knowing this was the second one, and being like, oh, who's this guy? Who's that guy? Why is he that guy's dad? And then, it just, and Alien as well. I watched Aliens first, and my dad. I remember my dad was the one that introduced me to that, and he's saying, oh, I remember going to see the first one of this, and we all thought it was just going to be like Star Wars. Fucking hell, we were wrong about that. It came out pale as a sheet.
Yeah, but
it's that love of
universe.
Yeah, and I think this has captured that episode 9. I mean, I think while we're on the subject of Carrie, we might as well say about how we felt about her exit scene.
Yeah, I was. I'll be honest.
I thought it was really well done, actually. She
was in the film longer than I expected.
Yeah, definitely. And the way they used the CG was really good, actually, I must admit. Because they CG'd the background, didn't they? Because it's unused footage, I believe.
It was unused, and I like the way that she's in the film for a lot of it. And I know she's hardly got screen time, but I like the way that they managed to work. They actually did craft a perfect performance. Yeah. I went into it with Carrie Fisher is no longer with us. Princess Leia is with us. So this is Princess Leia's performance.
Yeah, it's her
crafted one. Yeah. Carrie Fisher didn't. She never had a script for episode 9, so they actually built the performance around. And I went into the film with the. If you look carefully, you can see how characters like Lieutenant Connix and Maz Kanata and Rose Tico all aid her in the scene.
Yeah.
But if you're looking, if you watch it, it is still a great performance. Yeah. The way they did it is and the way it was all handled. It was a good performance, and I like the way the character was in all the good moments.
Yeah, it's the same. It reminded me of the way that they handled Oliver Reed's death in Gladiator. That was seamless. I remember watching that and not knowing that he died during it, and then when I watched the making and they said about him, he went on one last bender and didn't come back. I just thought, wow, that was like footage from all over that because you can do it, if you've got the respect and that actor. I mean, Heath Ledger finished all his scenes, didn't he, for Dark Knight? So I don't think there was any need for body doubles and stuff. So, but I do like when they try and at least finish what it would have looked like, or they have enough footage to finish it. And I'm glad they didn't CG her into it body wise. That would have been a bit sort of disingenuous. But it was only backgrounds, as far as I could tell, that was CG'd. So. And
the only face replacement they did, which was from Return of the Jedi,
Carrie.
Was the young one.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah,
because that's de-aging, isn't it? It's not the same as.
I thought it was speaking from a fan of Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
rather than a Star Wars fan right now, I thought it was so respectful.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And
yeah.
And
100%.
I truly. It was upsetting.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'll tell you what bit got me. It wasn't even when she sort of the moment her hand falls down and she dies. It was when R2 beeps. Like does his. When he does his little sad woo thing, and
Chewie.
When they say, oh yeah, when Chewie loses his shit.
Chewie, was like,
because it's like Chewie's the last guy. So, well, apart from Lando, Chewie's the last of the main, the main cast. And he's lost all three of them now. His three best friends. And the scene where Maz Kanata says something like "Goodbye, sweet princess" or something like that, and the sheet when the sheet goes down, I was like, lost my shit. I think you're right though. The Chewie bit is what got me, just because he just goes mental.
He was us.
He
was us. He was how we were feeling, and it was.
Yeah, because you see Finn going to sort of touch him, don't you? And he just backs him away.
I was really that bit I remember coming out of the cinema the first time, and it was very I could barely talk because I was really overwhelmed, and having Carrie have top billing and
that was good.
I couldn't have been. As a fan of Star Wars and Carrie Fisher, I couldn't have been happier with it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I'm glad they didn't sort of. It's sort of funny in a way now, the whole red herring from Last Jedi where they blew up the bridge.
Yeah.
And we just sort of we were at midnight, weren't we? And we were kind of like, did that just happen? Like they didn't just kill her off, did they? I'm sure I read they didn't. And then when she comes back to consciousness and floats off, I thought, thank God.
I was like.
I think they were sort of playing on that as a joke, weren't they? Sort of like, think she's dead? Well, she's not.
What annoyed me when that happened was, because I remember sitting there. I remember going, they've filmed all this footage. This is it. This is their little easier. I was sitting there going, no, this is no, I don't want this. I don't want this. So when she comes back in, I was so relieved.
With the theme as well. Yeah.
I didn't want it. I did not want. To me, the easiest option for Rian Johnson for Lucasfilm would have been to have
reshoot it.
That would have been the easy option rather than trying to make a film.
Yeah.
Without Carrie Fisher there.
Like explaining her real life death, and you don't need to do that, and it was great that they kept her in. Actually they sort of do it in this one, don't they, with Chewie, where they fake you out, and immediately we were thinking he's not dead because he's in the trailers in different bits, and and the stupid people were sitting next to us talking all the way through. Like, I killed all the main cast off now. Like, I was just thinking, just get out. Like, just leave us all to. Just fuck off.
Exactly. Can I just say something? If you go to a midnight screening, don't talk through them.
Go on your phone.
Yeah.
You've just paid £8 to go on your phone for 2 hours.
And if someone halfway down the aisle goes, shh, take it as a thing to shut the.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because remember I said some pretty much venom stuff when that a-hole was walking down the stairs at the end. I said it was a horror. Yeah, God, talking throughout a movie.
Especially that movie as well.
Yeah.
It's like talking through Schindler's List or something, isn't it? It's just not done.
No, and
certain movies you can kind of. When you've seen them a few times, though, we talk over them all the time, don't we? But
not in the cinema.
No, not in cinema. No. I think I've only ever sort of whispered something a few times in the cinema. Like you say, I think the funny one for you is Mary Poppins, wasn't it? When you said, "I know the ending."
I actually said to my fiance within 5 minutes because I said, "I don't know how this film ends."
But was it eating you up so much?
It was like I just it ruined the film for me because the ending was so telegraphed, and it's sort of like, cause, don't get me wrong, I was really wanting to enjoy Mary Poppins Returns. But when I saw the ending from 5 minutes in, I was like, okay, I don't want to watch the rest of it now. It was too telegraphed.
Do you know, I kind of hate when they put returns on sequels now. Like, the only one that works for me is Batman Returns. As a title, I know they're doing it for RoboCop Returns as well, but I just think it's such a lazy, this is a tangent, sorry, but it's such a lazy sequel title, isn't it?
Like Return of the King. That's a terrible title.
No, that's different. That's Return of. Like Return of the Jedi.
But that's the only one there is.
There is, if you Clerks too.
What did you think of Billy Lord anyway?
Yeah, no, well, I've always as soon as I found out she was Leia's daughter, as soon as I found out she was Carrie's daughter, I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. And then when they kept her in episode 8, I was like, I like this.
I like the.
She's like the sort of not background character, but not main.
I like that she had a couple of scenes with Princess Leia.
Yeah, oh, it was nice, wasn't it?
I really that got to me, and her poncho was very.
I
remember when we came out from the 40X that I said to my fiance, I said I was all right. I mean, up until the point where I saw that she was wearing a poncho that reminded me of Princess Leia's, and the music at the end being from Return of the Jedi. And that's when it got me and everything. And I said, I thought she was brilliant.
I think she's kind of like the Wedge of this trilogy, isn't she?
Yeah.
Like she's the background person that you sort of think, yes.
I've only got so far. I mean, I've only got 2 Funkos from episode 9, and one of them is a Dio, the other one is a Connix. I knew as soon as they made the Connix, I was getting one.
Yeah.
I just wanted to have a Connix. I'm going to be putting it next to my Leia.
Yeah.
So, I got it. Richard E. Grant now. What about Richard E. Grant?
You know when they have these like snivelly Tarkin sort of generals? I love that in Star Wars because they're so pantomime, but it wouldn't work any other way. I don't think. And I thought he was great. I like Richard E. Grant.
He's good. I've watched him recently because my fiance is a Doctor Who fan.
Oh, he's the Great Intelligence.
Dr. Simeon, the Great Intelligence.
I liked seeing Adrian Edmondson in Last Jedi. I thought that was a really
weird.
Good.
I was hoping he'd be back.
Wow, I didn't know he was in this.
I was hoping he'd come back.
Didn't he get killed when they ram it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could.
Or the Holdo maneuver, as they refer to it.
No one's ever really dead. No one's ever really gone. It's one of those. But yeah. I got it. I know there's. It would have been nice to have had Kelly Tran into it a bit more, but she was,
I'm glad she was still in it.
Yeah. We really didn't need the character because it is only 3.
Yeah. I mean, with no disrespect whatsoever to her, because she didn't deserve what happened. But I thought she was kind of superfluous in Last Jedi as well. She's, I don't know. It's like it's hard, isn't it? It's you know that sort of character when as soon as you see it, you just can't explain why. In some films, I think. I don't know. There must be analogues in other types of films. I suppose it's like Winston in Ghostbusters, isn't it? He doesn't really do very much, but you still count him as part of the.
And she's nice. I like the way that she was the moral ground for
Finn.
So she was great in 8. She was needed in 8 because she was needed to show Finn
8
what
was
they're
the
fighting
dark
for.
one, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I think her character was important, but
she's like Marcus Brody.
Yeah,
he's kind of pointless, isn't he? But we still like him.
Yeah, but I think we needed Rose Tico in 8 for Finn's arc.
Yeah.
So, but when it came to 9, Finn was a leader now.
Yeah.
So she was more needed in the background.
Yeah, because retroactively, that was one of my least favourite arcs of Episode 8. Was Finn's sort of like coming to terms with everything, but then seeing it come full circle in this one, it's made me want to go back and watch it now to see if it is actually better than I remember, kind of thing. That arc, and there's a lot about 8 now that it's finished that I will go back and sort of maybe reappraise. I mean, I love 8 like you do, but for me there was still some niggly parts, and maybe going back now I'll kind of be like, oh, I've got my fun back now, sort of,
I did on my In the Geek Room. I run down of Star Wars films.
Yeah.
And I actually knocked Last Jedi out of my top 5 because for me in terms it's not in terms if we're going to do it in terms of impact and things then Last Jedi would be probably in the top 3. Yeah. But in terms of fun value and watchability, it's dark, but I found things, but it's not as fun. Yeah. In terms of if you want to watch films, if you wanted to watch like in terms of importance, I would like I said top 3 for Last Jedi. But in terms of fun, for me it ranks at about number 6.
Yeah, I think it sort of brought that original trilogy style feel of fun, didn't it? Back, because I mean, if even Empire, even though it's the dark one, it's still so much fun. Yeah. And that's something that I don't think any of the subsequent films have kind of captured as well. Maybe Rogue One and Solo were kind of going in that direction. Like Rogue One, you had the nostalgia of the Empire again, and that was a great film anyway. But like I think with Solo, they were kind of trying to go with the original sort of like Han's an like an adventure. And that's what Star Wars was originally. It wasn't this deep sort of meditation on things.
Then all these V plates going.
And ruined it for us. Yeah,
everybody that decided they weren't going to go see Solo in the cinema, because they didn't like Episode 8. Thank you. We no longer have Solo movies.
Yeah, which I wanted to see a trilogy of.
Yeah, me too. Because I actually thought that it was bloody right.
Oh, speaking of Solo, the Han cameo. What did you think of that? That really knocked me for six. I did not expect that.
Did not see it.
And it was done quite well, actually, wasn't it? It wasn't plugged in.
It was organic.
Yeah.
It was very organic.
And it is very, like, it is in his head, isn't it? It's not, like, he's not actually there. Because I've heard, like, I saw the inevitable criticism of, like, oh, Han's not force sensitive. Like, he says, I'm in your you're just in my memory, yes.
Yeah. And now, you know what? I'm going to say, I've said on other things, is that something I read, I really wish I'd kept that source now, that people went into this film either hating it or loving it. You knew what you were going to think. If you were, other than general public, of course, if you were a fanboy, you went into it knowing what you were going to think before you even sat in the cinema, and this is where I think, if you're listening to this, you obviously either one of us lot fanboy, you're a fanboy, or fangirl, or fan person, however you define yourself, or you're watching this, or you're listening to this because you're interested in films and film and everything. But for myself, and I think for you, when we do films, we go into them with a pretty much a clean slate.
Yeah, as clean
and
as
we'll
we
make
can.
our.
Yeah.
I want to love something, but I might come out of it not feeling the same way. I wanted to love 1917. I really wanted to. Yeah, I went into those films wanting to love them. Terminator came out thinking, wishing I'd never bought the ticket. 1917, I came out of, and I know everyone is heaping a lot of praise on this, but I came out of 1917 thinking it was just Saving Private Ryan light. As beautiful it was. I thought the story let it down, and I wanted to go into that. But with Rise of Skywalker, I wanted to love Rise of Skywalker. I ended up coming out of Rise of Skywalker loving it in a better way than I went into it.
I originally thought,
I wanted to love it, but it's going to be dark, so I'm going to not.
Maybe,
But I ended up coming out of Rise of Skywalker going, I can't wait to see this film again because this is so much fun and it's made me feel good about myself. And I really want to sit through this film again.
And I as much as people say like Episode 7's the weak one.
I say that.
That's what that brought back though, the fun. Like I remember watching that and thinking, wow, I've actually just watched a Star Wars film and had fun for the first time in 10 years. And well, not 10 years, but it was 10 years, yeah. And like, it gets dismissed as sort of like, oh, it's just a remake of A New Hope, but I think it needed that. It needed to bring that fun back.
Yeah.
Because, if it had been too serious, it would have just been another prequel, and if it had just been the new cast, I think people would have dismissed it. Whereas it had the weight of having Han in it for maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, and sort of handing the torch over kind of aspect, rather than just put Han in after 40 minutes and you can watch him and Chewie shoot some stormtroopers. They included the new cast with it, and you got the Leia cameo. Like you were like, oh yes, Leia.
That
and
bit
C-3PO, and it was, they were introduced slightly, and it needed that. I think.
As soon as that dropship landed,
you knew it was
I knew who was going to be on there.
I must admit,
that touched me.
I thought when they said, what was it? Yeah, when he was on about Maz Kanata and he says, I haven't spoken to her in years. I thought, oh, this is going to be Leia. Yeah. But I mean, like even characters like I love Maz Kanata as well. Yeah. She's cool.
I like the Peter Neon girl.
Yeah,
she's
she is great. Yeah.
For me, I mean, I'm going to disagree slightly. I enjoyed Episode 7, especially for, like I said, when I did my thing in the Geek Room, I actually said that, because I put Skywalker. Oh, sorry, Rise of Skywalker. I put Force Awakens. I think I might put that last if I'm right.
But it's not a criticism.
No, but there's not a criticism because if on any other thing, sticking Force Awakens last, on any other thing, would on any compared to any other movie is still higher up than most movies.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, the Princess Leia and Solo meeting for the first time, that's absolutely superb. The ending is superb, but for me, Rogue One was the film.
Rogue One blew it all out.
That is like the one that said, Star Wars is back. I love Star Wars. Star Wars has gone from being a film that pardon?
I suppose it went back to being hack for a bit, didn't it?
Yeah.
Look, again, we've sort of reappraised the prequels, and that we now think they're quite genius.
From
but
2005 to 2015, there's 10 years.
Kind of dead.
Yeah.
I mean, Clone Wars and Rebels sort of. Clone Wars for me brought it back in a big way. Thinking, wow, they can do this animated. They can certainly go back to Star Wars now. And they did, and Rebels is great as well. But
I'm gonna binge watch those.
Yeah, it's just with that again, it's the nostalgia. Like they bring back the original actors to do their voices where they can. Yeah. Ironically, I think the only one they don't bring back is Carrie Fisher. Yeah, but they've got Jimmy Smits as Bail Organa. They've got James Earl Jones playing Darth Vader. Billy Dee. It's all the original people, and it sort of makes you think, wow, they can do this animated. What's the reason they can't? There's no reason they can't do it again. And then they proved that to me with Force Awakens. I mean, I was worried going in, like, what's going to go on with this, but I remember, I think I went with a couple of other friends. It wasn't midnight, but it was the first night it came out, and we were fist pumping and we were cheering, and I thought, I haven't felt this for a long time. Long time.
Force Awakens was the.
It was a make or break for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was it was the first time since I'd say since 2006 I actually felt like a Star Wars fan again.
It was okay to be a Star Wars fan again. Yeah,
because I thought the quality of everything went down the crap.
Definitely. Yeah, but that's one thing I did like about Force Awakens as well. It brought back. They started using models again, and they brought John Williams back, and everything you knew was there, and they just mixed it up, and it's not perfect. There are some, it is a little bit too much like A New Hope in some scenes, but it's not to the detriment, in my opinion. I mean, that's kind of what pissed me off with all the fans, is where they say, oh, it's too much like, A New Hope. And then they brought out Last Jedi and did loads of radical things. Oh, it's too different.
No, I'm not gonna watch it.
What do you want?
Not my Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I'll sod off.
No, my Luke Skywalker. I'm not gonna.
That's kind of why I think Rogue One simultaneously heightened and killed it, because they did the great one too early. I'm not saying they should have made deliberately shit ones, but I think Rogue One was such a peak that it was hard to beat.
Thank you, John Knoll, for that.
Yeah. But I mean, just the way even the way it just it's minutes behind A New Hope.
Yeah.
And that ending is so perfect. And
oh yeah.
Just we finally got to see what Vader could do, and things like that. I think that's what they brought back for 9.
Yeah.
Got to see the Emperor again. We got to say goodbye to the last main character.
But I didn't like the Emperor because he didn't look like the Emperor.
He's a zombie.
Shut up.
Yeah. And I've heard people saying oh, he's a clone, and doesn't say that explicitly. It could
not a clone. He survived the pit. God.
Yeah, or that's what I liked as well.
I think that's the one we went. No, that was someone we went cinema. We went to see it. Yeah. He actually said that he was a clone until then, dictating to us.
I think they were actually sort of hinting at the fact that in the past there's been stories about that. But I think it's more.
No, but it's the expanded universe. The expanded universe says this.
Must be gospel. Yeah. But I actually think they were more hitting that Snoke was a clone in it.
Snoke was.
Did you see that sort of Snoke in the
jar? We're surmising Snoke was a clone.
Yeah, I think he was. I mean, and I don't. It doesn't. At first, I was kind of thinking, if Palpatine's a clone, it's not going to bother me that much. If it's his spirit, then it's going to annoy me. And it actually didn't bother me that much when he said, they were talking about spirits passing into people, and because the Sith have always been kind of witchcrafty, haven't they?
Yeah.
Controlling life is really witchcrafty, and the idea that not Finn, what's his name, Kylo and Rey are kind of, they call it a dyad in the Force. They're two 2 in a million and it only happens once every generation. I like that because it's going back to the Chosen One thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and so except for this time there's a Chosen.
Yeah, Chosen 2. And seeing his eyes go red when he regenerates, it's creepy, wasn't it?
The path to the dark side was some.
Pathway to many a double. Yeah, I like that they used that from Sith again, and the Vader voice as well. It's just go see it if you haven't seen it. We probably spoiled it if you haven't seen it. We did say at the start, so it's your own fault.
Yeah, you ruined it for yourself. So I actually listened to this before you saw the film.
No, I really loved it. I'm still struggling to find. There must be things in there that I can probably maybe in the future say that wasn't so good, but I can't find any at the moment.
Well, I just want to stop just to tell a little story, which I want me and you to do when it comes out on Blu-ray, and we'll go commentary it when it comes out. Where anybody who knows me who knows the greatest film ever made, in my opinion, I'm saying this is in my opinion, the greatest film ever made is Schindler's List. Yeah. Now, we went cinema last year to see Schindler's List for its anniversary, and I went into this film because I'm watching on a big screen with an agenda. I never told you at the time.
Oh yes.
And I never told my fiance. But my agenda was, this film is not perfect. I will find something wrong with it. I walked out of the film, and to me, Schindler's List, still a perfect movie.
Yeah, there was nothing.
Nothing that I could find. I could not. I'm the same with A New Hope. I went through that film, and I can't remember what it was. I picked up one tiny little thing that was so.
Wasn't it more pacing related than actual technical?
No, and the pacing's slow anyway. But it was a character, something the character did, and I thought he could have ended it all there. And
but there's loads of that in things, isn't there?
I was nitpicking. I was nitpicking.
Not to annoy you even more again by referencing it, but I don't know if you know there's a plot hole in Lord of the Rings where they say, couldn't the eagles have just flown into Mordor, you know? Yeah. And who cares? Like
me, when you're trying to get my fiance to make me watch the films, I care.
But who cares? On the
your fault that I actually care. So yeah,
it's just, they're the sort of plot holes that you ignore. You know, the suspension of disbelief, isn't it? Like the whole Big Bang Theory thing about Raiders of the Lost Ark, about Indy not being
good.
Yeah, you need it. Like, who cares if they would have all just died anyway? It's certain things need to be there.
Life's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
Like an Aerosmith song.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
And if you don't like Raiders of the Lost Ark, you're entitled to your opinion on this one. You're entitled to.
Yeah, it's wrong, but you're entitled to it.
You said it together. Boom. That's just high-fiving. You wonder what that noise was? No. I've got to say, because you mentioned Raiders of the Lost Ark. Why did you have to mention Raiders of the Lost Ark? Because I'm going to have to say the best score ever made, in my opinion, along with Empire.
Good score.
But yeah, I have to say that because you mentioned Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it's a brilliant film. Got what is regarded as the greatest exposition film.
Oh, the Blackpool.
So we are going. This when Rise of Skywalker comes out on Blu-ray, what we'll do is we'll do a commentary with it for it, and we will see if we can pick holes in anything. But But
at this very moment in time, the only thing I could find was the ghosts should have been at the end, but that's more should have in my fanboy head than
I would have liked to have seen.
Like I think at the end of Last Jedi, I was kind of thinking I would like to have seen Luke go nuts with his lightsaber, but then upon reflection, I was kind of like, doesn't serve the story. Do we need to see it? Would we like to see it? Yes, but
I like Luke's Western style standard.
I do. I really love it. I think it's just he needed to be Obi-Wan, didn't he?
Yeah, but it's not nice Luke Skywalker. Because obviously he's haven't really watched the other films before. They said that all Jedi's completely going to retreat when they lose one battle.
Yeah.
So it's not your Luke Skywalker, so it's not your Yoda, it's not your Obi-Wan Kenobi, so it's alright. He's just doing what his mentors were doing.
Yeah, and I like the fact that even Rey sort of says, you're right, I'm going to do what you did.
Yeah.
And it's him that has to say, no, don't do that.
That's exactly, that's sort of like, I think that was JJ's way of sticking his middle finger up to the fanboys.
Yeah.
And that's not the Jedi way. You'll find out it is the Jedi way.
Yeah. But that's the sort of you know, I never found shame in the fact that Yoda had to retreat or that Obi-Wan had to run away. You know, because that's the only way they could move their beliefs onto the next generation, isn't it? And I always like the Jedi in that respect because they are a live to fight another day kind of. It's the Sith that are all or nothing, you know. Yeah. Let's die in a blaze of glory, and you know, it's just they're fanatics, aren't they?
What did you think of Rey being a Palpatine?
Oh, it didn't bother me. In fact, it was one of my original theories. Yeah. I don't usually go a bundle with these fan theories, but there was in my head originally a whole. I'd like it if she was related to a bad character. Yeah. And they ended up doing it, and I kind of like that. You know, I never got the impression. You know, there's loads of people that said to me, she's going to be Luke's daughter. I never, that never ever. I think the whole Rise of Skywalker title thing as well. People saw of that as confirmation, and I never bought into it.
I like the way her parents were nobodies.
Yeah.
And it's from a certain point of view.
Yeah, which is what Star Wars is, isn't it?
It's her granddaddy that was a
somebody.
Sith Lord.
Yeah, and I like the fact that, you know, Palpatine's son kind of thought, "Fuck this guy, like, I hate him."
and yet Palpatine puts the hit on his own son.
Yeah, because that's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah, and the whole it's the and basically dismissing Anakin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I thought that was and having the offspring of them, those being the ones that the defeat at the end. So I thought that was and together. And I got to admit, Adam Driver. I'm the first to admit when I'm wrong, and I was so wrong. I was saying there's no way Kylo can have his. It won't work for me if Kylo doesn't have his redemption.
Yeah, I think we didn't want it.
We didn't want it at all. We've had this conversation quite a few times about how Kylo's bad. Yeah. We love. I remember for so long we were going. We both agreed that we love Adam Driver, but we hate Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
But now it's like I kind of like Kylo Ren.
It was more along the lines of you can't fuck with Han Solo and get redeemed, you know. But
it works.
Yeah, it does. It does work because by having that scene with Han.
Yeah.
You know, he still is conflicted about what he's doing. I mean, even in Last Jedi, when he goes to kill Leia, he doesn't.
Exactly.
It's the other TIE fighters that fire, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that he's, for the first time, we saw a dark side character struggling with the light side pulling him, instead of a light side character. You know, like, because we've seen that with Anakin, haven't we? Yeah. And Luke, even to some extent. But it was nice to see the opposite way around.
Yeah.
It was really sort of brave to do that, I think, and it was good.
And it was not that told you just said it just then. That's superb.
Yeah.
That is a great reading.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's nice to see a bad guy get pulled by the light for a change. It's always the other way around, isn't it?
And it aided to a great redemption arc. And Adam Driver, I'm sorry, you are well in the spoiler territory, so if you haven't switched off by now, a bit where Rey puts the lightsaber behind him and he picks it up, boom.
I love that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That.
So even the way he sort of, when you see the Knights of Ren, and he's kind of like shrugs his shoulders. Like, sorry guys.
Yeah. I mean, I love Adam Driver ever since.
He's a fantastic actor.
Black Klansman.
Oh, he's great.
And even for his little small part in Inside Llewyn Davis, I've had a thing for him since that. I thought, if you ever see Inside Llewyn Davis, type in, go on YouTube, Inside Llewyn Davis, Adam Driver. There's a great scene with him singing with Justin Timberlake and Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, so with Poe Dameron.
Yeah. So I love him for that alone. He's hardly in Inside Llewyn, but Adam Driver.
Yeah, he's
absolutely love him.
Wasn't he a Marine?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a really good sort of weird journey, isn't it?
Yeah, he is. I will watch Marriage Story. That's in my might watch it another day.
Yeah, Adam Driver's one of those really distinctive sort of actors, isn't he? Like, he really sort of steals the scene in a lot of films, doesn't he?
He's good. I like him. I really like him. But I like it. I love Inside Llewyn Davis. So it's sort of like anyone
still
that's
need to watch.
That's on our watch list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I forgot to say, like saying goodbye to General Hux. You know. Yeah. He is this stooge, isn't he? And he goes out like a stooge. But Richard E. Grant just destroys him, doesn't he?
But he's the Domhnall Gleeson is.
Yeah, he's good.
Can I just put a shout out to a film I really, really like right now?
Ex Machina. No.
Yep, you said it.
Was it?
Yeah, it's Ex Machina.
I thought it was going to be
if you
that,
haven't seen
yeah.
Ex Machina, I'm just going to go and say watch Ex Machina. I love that film.
Do you know what? Weirdly, on a tangent, it's a film I just can't bring myself, emotionally to go back and watch again because I know how it ends.
Yeah.
And it's such a gut punch ending, isn't it?
You
think it's going one way and it just flips on you.
Watch Ex Machina, you'll understand what we're seeing, but I really don't want to spoil Ex Machina.
No, I know. Yeah. Same with it's the gut punch I liked to inflict on you for Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, that was brilliant. See that coming. Okay, if you had the story is I didn't see until Night of the Living Dead till last year. It's one of the ones that I thought I knew the ending of. Then the ending comes along and wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So anybody that writes off Night of the Living Dead and George Romero as being a one-trick pony, watch Night of the Living Dead. You'll find out exactly how that is one of the greatest horror films ever made, and it's a great social commentary, especially the ending.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a superb piece of filmmaking.
For me, like Dawn of the Dead is my favourite horror film of all time, but it's in the same vein as Empire is my favourite Star Wars film, but the best one. And I think Night of the Living Dead is the Star Wars of horror.
Yeah.
It's the reignition of that sort of. We didn't know we needed it, but we did.
It's perfection. The ending of that film is perfection.
That was a little tangent, but it is related to that sort of.
I like it. That's what I like about
Star Wars effect.
That's what I like about doing these podcasts is when we actually. I love it when I watch things and I'm introduced to other things, and I'm hoping that through listening to these podcasts,
you'll
go and find these other things.
I think Night of the Living Dead is one of those films you think you know the story.
Yeah.
You think you've seen it, and you really haven't. It's more of the Frankenstein thing than it is Star Wars. I think. Where you think you know the story, and excuse me, you actually maybe don't.
No. Oh no, I didn't know. I didn't see the ending.
Yeah.
I think. Okay, I'm gonna. Because you just yawned, I think.
No, it wasn't through boredom. It was just. I think it was just because it's dark outside.
Yes, I'm kind of needing to take a break in a minute.
Yeah.
For reasons why I've been drinking a bottle of milk, which I'll explain why I need to take this break.
I drink milk as well out of the bottle. So much time, mum's annoyance.
I just want to. I'm the only one that drinks milk, so go ahead and have some. I just want to sum this up by just saying, we're probably going to do another one of these soon.
Oh yeah,
films, we kind of.
Not to steal your thunder, but the best way to sum up is to say go see it for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't listen to it. Don't even listen to us. Go see it for yourself. Like it or don't like it on your own merits. Don't go into it thinking people have said this about it. People have said, Stevie and Callum have said this about it, so it must be good. Don't even think that. Think whatever you want to think. That's the way I would sum up.
Yeah, you said basically everything I was thinking. The thing is, this is the beauty is if you do disagree with someone, don't try and pick
that's okay.
Yeah. Don't. I think the people who force their opinions, especially with these movies, because everybody has their own, everybody thinks they have ownership over it, is that my opinion is right, so yours is wrong, and I'm trying to get you to think like this.
Yeah, we need to start getting out of that again, don't we?
Yeah.
This whole sort of Trump era.
Anything that I say is right and everything you say is wrong, so I'm going to hate you for it.
Yeah, we need to sort of start getting out of that again, because even I've started not to do it, but there are certain things where I do it, and I didn't know I've done it, and I realised, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that. We don't want to force on you, because going into Star Wars and going, that's untouchable because is just as bad as saying it's shit because ... we don't want that to come across that that's what we're doing. So you go see it and like it or don't like it on your own merits. Don't even let us influence you any other way.
No. And the thing is, I'll go a little bit off tangent and say we have a running joke about Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
And
the quote mark feud.
Yeah, this is the one. But the thing is, if you don't like something,
that's okay.
Yeah.
We
joke about this all the time, and there's no venom or no heat attached to it. And the only film that I can think if it comes to something as because at the end of the day it's entertainment and education. If we're looking at some films,
of course it is. Yeah.
There's only one film that I could actually fall out with someone over, and that is Schindler's List. That's the only film.
Yeah, I mean,
only if you, because that's only
the only sort of probably the only argument I would ever sort of maybe go, yeah, fair enough, that's a good point. Related to the whole we'll never watch it because blah 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 is, and I've had to, I'm trying to get my fiance to watch it because of the importance of it, and her argument is a valid argument where she sort of, she suffers from anxiety.
Yeah.
So I think if she watched that in the wrong frame of mind, that could, well, that's quite a bad setback, isn't it? It's not the film you would watch if you were depressed or if you were clinically depressed. You wouldn't be like, I'm going to go watch Schindler's List, would you?
I know.
You'd watch something happy, wouldn't you, deliberately?
There are films that I refuse to watch for that reason.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I totally understand, but I do. But if someone was to say she basically disrespect Schindler's List for had seen it,
better run away
because it's purely educational and for the way society is at the moment. I think it's very important. I think it is, but that's off subject. That is going off. But I completely agree. If you don't like these episode 9, it's your opinion. It really is.
No, I mean, if we all, it goes the other way. If we all liked it, boring world as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like if there's no conflict in our world, respectable conflict in terms of cultural and social, then how boring would our world be? We'd all be just little.
We're all going to be watching X Factor.
We'd all be little Palpatines running around. Like.
Can I tell you one thing? I'm going to call this the PS part of this. We did a podcast, 10-minute one, which we're going to start again soon.
No, we will. Yeah, there'll be.
We did a podcast, and it was not one that was thought out that well because it was our favourite Batman.
Yeah.
You always like talking for 10 minutes when you both agree on the same thing. It is boring.
We couldn't bring ourselves to disagree on that.
Oh, it was. I say boring. Listen to it. You'll just find it. We're kissing Michael Keaton's ass, and
and
I like
what an ass.
Yeah, it is.
But
at least it's not like an ass like they have in Joel Schumacher ones. When,
God,
but
that ass.
But I find films when we're podcasting is the most fun I actually have it is when we're arguing.
Yeah, there's an honesty though, isn't there?
And it's fun.
Yeah.
There's.
Yeah.
It makes more fun.
It's honest.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because we can always even say hard. It's hard because I would have to go and think about it. But even something like we brought up Raiders of the Lost Ark earlier. Could we find? Sorry, I keep yawning. I do apologise. Could we find? Is there a point where we could go and watch Raiders and go? Maybe that bit's not as good or held up. Like something like that. Maybe not. I stopped picking Raiders, but
no, this is a challenge then. Okay,
we're
going to sit down, watch
challenge
Raiders,
ourselves more.
To watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we'll podcast it as we're doing it. We'll watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we're going to. Not necessarily because it won't affect the enjoyment of the film, but we're going to see if we can find faults in a film that we truly love.
Yeah, or like something like Ghostbusters as well. We like them because I think we like them because there's a reason. Like they came at a point in our sort of our development. Yeah, they're what I would call developmental films. Because even though I wasn't around for the original screenings, they're still developmental for me. Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, Indie, Star Wars. Wasn't there for the originals, but I feel like they were. It's weird because it's what Disney does, and I think Disney did it first, where you feel like you've always been around, even for something like Snow White. Yeah. And you're crazy because you couldn't have been, but you feel like you were. It's weird. It's hard to explain, but horror is like that for me as well. That was my I love horror, and that's it's always been good to me. Yeah. And something like Halloween or Dawn of the Dead, I feel like I was there, even though there's no reason I could.
It's been in your life for the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, in reality, I was swimming around in my dad's balls.
Yeah.
Without being crude.
That's a good analogy.
So there's no way I could have.
Technically, you were actually. Your DNA was there.
I was there.
Your
yeah,
DNA
but
was there.
I was tadpole.
You mentioned Raiders. You mentioned Raiders of Indiana Jones and Back to the Future and Ghostbusters. That was literally
they were
three
like
films after
the
Star Wars.
holy like trifecta that you could possibly ever criticize.
They were the ones that came after Star Wars.
Yeah. I do think like it's nice to sort of challenge the good films now and again. You know, we've made a point of saying in our own time as well how much we don't like things like, you know, like pivotal iconic films like The Godfather. Don't like it. Really don't like it. Don't like The Shawshank Redemption.
I will watch.
I feel like I'm alone?
I've been avoiding that.
Yeah.
I think it's like something about avoiding films like Schindler's List. So I'm like I've avoided Citizen Kane, but I've got it in my head. I have to watch it.
No, totally. But like, how many times like I've went around work and said to people, really don't like The Shawshank Redemption. What the hell, you know? Like, what are you doing with your life? Just don't like it.
You know, I've got staring at me, and I've got to find time to watch it because I bought it the other day. I bought it just before Christmas, actually. No, just after. I bought the two Alfred Hitchcock box sets.
Oh.
It's staring at me every day to start watching them.
But Hitchcock's the same, you know, like, I think you realise, you know, there are Hitchcock films that you think wasn't as good as I remember. Yeah. But, because of who Hitchcock is more why we revere them, I think.
I got a bit North Northwest is my favourite.
And
I'm one of my favourite Hitchcock movies, but I am going to... And I've been told I'm not allowed to watch the Hitchcock films without my fiancée.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, go back and sort of think, you know, like Psycho is my untouchable Hitchcock film, and maybe that's boring because everyone likes Psycho. No. Like Pulp Fiction is my untouchable Tarantino film. Slowly being overtaken by Once Upon a Time is my favourite though. I must admit it to you. You brought me around to that.
Yeah, it was Jackie Brown for years now.
But I mean, even like Jackie Brown used to be on my least favourite with Death Proof. Yeah. Watching them again, I like Death Proof now, and I love Jackie Brown. Do you know, it's what you said, what we talked about in our soundtrack episode. I think a soundtrack can totally change the way you think about a film, and Jackie Brown really has changed. I can't say Jackie Brown without saying it the way you say it as well. No. But I think that's great. Yeah, rewatching that, you know, Jack Brown's a stronger film because of that.
De Niro's a biatch in the film.
Yeah, it's weird. And it's good to see films like that where you maybe change your opinion over the years. You know, maybe I will change my opinion on Rise of Skywalker, but that's what film is great for. You can change your opinion.
I actually said that. I'm sorry, I will. If I remember wrong, I'll put a link into my Indie Geek Room top 10 in top 11 Star Wars films. I actually said in that one that eventually my opinion might have changed. It's just now,
and it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Well, we did this we watched RoboCop 2 the other day. We were like,
terrible film.
It's bad, but like, and then you know, like, you can do that with your favourite films. You can change your opinion. Do you know the best sort of anecdote I have for this is Power Rangers. I'll let you explain why. Because Power Rangers was untouchable to me years ago. Like, if you literally you know, put your foot on Power Rangers in any way, shape or form that made me think you were sort of dissing it, I would be out of the room and you would be an arsehole.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean though? Yeah. Like, and then when I did sort of say, when it did come to Netflix, you know, it's the one thing I was like, I want Power Rangers now. I want to watch it, rewatch it. Rewatched it, thought, this is shite. Why did I ever like this? Yeah. But there is a reason you do like things, and it's not rational that you like or don't like. You know, it's hard to explain why you like something in the first place when it is so trash. You know, I mean,
where were you at the time of your life?
Yeah, it's definitely that. That is 100%.
I got the complete opposite for that for you. Now. Doctor Who.
Okay, yeah.
I watched it during the 80s. But up to about the Peter Davison era, then Colin Baker was turned off. When it was relaunched, I watched the first two episodes of the Matt Smith era. Realised I was only watching it because of that hot young lady in it. Then I realised that's all I'm watching.
What, the sexy ginger one?
Yeah, that one. Karen Gillan. Now, if that's the only reason I'm watching it, I didn't watch it again.
Yeah.
Meet a lovely young lady who every Saturday, when it was on, so I go round to her house, and literally after I was just finishing, so I wasn't interested into it. Cut to a few years later, break my arm, watch The Adventure in Space and Time because I wanted to be educated. Still couldn't get into Doctor Who. She decided she doesn't want to do Harry Potter this year because we've done it so many times, twice. And I said, okay, what do you want to do? We'll do Doctor Who experience then? Okay, bugger. I'm going to have to binge watch all up to things up to about 8 or 9 seasons of Doctor Who. So I binge watched them, and I actually saw something in there that I hadn't seen before. So as you'd gone one way of going with Power Rangers, I got the complete opposite of going like, actually it is quite good. Now, after the Doctor Who experience, and it's in Cardiff, so a little big shout out if you really are if you're a Doctor Who fan, go Cardiff. You can find lots and lots of filming locations within a very small radius. If you go from
budget,
Cardiff,
you don't need a huge budget to sort of like respect something you don't like before that you do now.
Yeah, I
like that. That's what won me over with you with Doctor Who. Is like, watch it because it's great from a production standpoint.
Yeah. That
would win me over any sort of taste argument.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting that you go one way, I go the other, but that's
completely different strokes, isn't it? And I think that's the great thing about. I absolutely adore the fact that my friend's done this as well with me, my other friend, is that you can come from, like, I can't believe I got you to like the new Halloween.
Yeah. And
you love it, don't you?
I really don't
like
do horror, but I walked out of Halloween with, wow, this is a horror film. This is a true horror film.
It's good. I love doing that though. That's the good thing about, like, great friends can do that. You can sort of hate a film before and think, why did I hate this? This is good. You can do that. Lord of the Rings.
I think this. I'm not going to. I will do it because she does keep saying. I will do it.
I think you need to. I will stop bullying you about that. But like,
he admitted it. He admitted it, Billy.
No, but
I will
joking aside,
I know we've got to track. This is probably everything. This is all probably going to go into. I'm going to probably edit this into 2 podcasts now. But I just want to say that when we finish doing these podcasts, what we do is we sit down and we watch a film, the 2 of us.
Yeah.
And
that's our thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have to do it.
And I'm actually going somewhere. I'm actually going to go somewhere. So we say this is. We don't watch like mainstream stuff. I said, well, we'll find something that we want the other one to watch, or we'll find something that we both want to watch that's a little bit out there that we might not be able to watch with our respective fiancés. So that's why I love doing these things, and I love watching films. With just the 2 of us, because we educate each other on our own individual tastes that come together to do these podcasts.
Yeah.
So, I think that this is me. I'm just going to say bye now because I think we've gone far.
I think we are done. Yeah. But but like, I don't really know what to say to that. But you've summed it up.
May the force be with you.
Yeah, indeed.
Always.
Yes. Goodbye.